Christmas is the end of the year, and I've decided to make a video today pertaining to frequency. Not too long ago, I actually released a video on how to raise your frequency, and I talked about how getting rid of certain blockages and just seeing a situation a certain way actually mended old wounds when it came to my relationship with my father. But I deleted it for whatever reason, whatever mindset I was going through back in the past. I got rid of it, stopping you guys from seeing that content. So today I'll make up for that. I'll make you this video and I'll go through the new discoveries when it comes to how it is that I'm raising my frequency and the important facts, the fundamental truths that you need to embody in order to raise your frequency. But not only that, but keep it raised for a very, very long duration of time. Let's get into it. So, frequency. What does it mean to lower your frequency? Well, your emotions, for example, they have a spectrum, a vibrational spectrum of consciousness. Let's water this down so that it's more simple for you guys to understand. Lower frequency means that it restricts your ability to see more solutions to a potential disaster, to a problem within your life. You will only see it in one way. And from my own experience from seeing other negative people, this can literally happen within the same room. You can come up with something, you can say something and present something from your truth, from a part of you that's excited about something. But because they're on such a low frequency, and everyone's like this, on a low frequency, okay, they only see the negatives towards what you're saying. They can only interpret what it is that you're saying as a negative outcome or as a negative experience. This kind of sucks because you're expressing something you're excited about in hopes that this person is also going to be excited about it. But what me and other people with a high frequency need to understand is that these people aren't ready to receive our information yet, so we should just keep our mouths shut, because we cannot tell something that excites us because we're in a high frequency to someone in a low frequency simply because they will not be ready to receive the information. They're only going to make sense out of what it is that you're saying with what they've got. And unfortunately, they've got a low frequency, so they're only going to be drawing from their low emotional state. Now, when you're in a low frequency, your emotions literally take words and memories that also resonate on that low frequency. This is why people on the low frequency can only think or come up with or channel low vibrational thought patterns such as memories and low vibrational words, the way they speak to you, the way they spit things back out at you. And this can feel like a projection, because it kind of is. The way we communicate to each other, we project one frequency in hopes that it's being received, and the discord, the disconnect with that way of doing such a thing is, if you're on a high frequency and you're trying to communicate to someone who's on a low frequency, it's not going to work, and it's going to get awkward really fast. Now, a high frequency, this is pretty cool, because it does something to the person who's in this high vibrational state which a lower vibrational being cannot access. And that is, the higher vibrational being can perceive a situation in more ways than just one. When you're in a low vibration, it feels as if there's no way out. You can only see a circumstance as you can see it with what you've got, which is a low vibration, so you're only coming up with negative thoughts. But if you're on a high frequency, you not only see or understand or empathize low vibrational beings because you can see their perception, but you can also access the higher perceptions, other ways of looking at the situation, which gives you the solution to the problem. Many solutions, because you're open to accessing all of these probable outcomes, all of these solutions to the problems. And this is the potential benefit of being in a high vibrational frequency. I feel good now. So, how can we get you guys to raise your frequency? Like, now, the first thing I did a long time ago when I started practicing raising my frequency is I laid there in my bed and I thought about all of the things that I was grateful for, all of the things that I had that made me happy. My dog, all of the past relationships, all of the experiences where I got to express joy and emotion and happiness, genuine happiness with people, and how honored I was to have experienced those experiences with these people at the present points of time that they occurred. My life was rich in beauty and happiness only if I noticed or took the time to pay attention to these past experiences. But a lot of people, they just focus on the negatives. So what I decided to do was just sit there with myself and realize that, you know what? I've had the best of both worlds within my life. Why not just pay extra attention to the best of this world, this perceived reality that I live in, right? And that is exactly what I did, and I started growing. My heart opened up and grew like 4 sizes, and it's great. And when you're in that frequency of love and appreciation, it blows out of the water all of the problems that you've had, or that you perceive to see within your current present day experience. And that sets you up for these other ways of raising your frequency. Now, another thing you really have to do is know the fact that you are your own best friend. No one's going to understand you like you understand you. No one's going to look out for you like you're going to look out for yourself. No one's going to give you money that you cannot get for yourself. No one's going to be able to support you or love you or really connect to you deeper than you can connect with yourself, because no one knows you like you know you. And that's just the truth of it. And a lot of people are trying to look outside of themselves for the love and the appreciation and the self-acceptance, acceptance. And it's insane how many people do this, because you've got everything you need. You have the proof within your own memory that you're a nice person. You have access to all of your thoughts. You have access to all of your memories of all the behaviors and actions that you've done within your life that have helped people. Why would you need someone else to see you as this pure, light, helpful, generous being when you can see it for yourself just by looking at your own experiences? You need to be your own source of validation. You need to be your own safety net. You need to make responsible choices which are going to put you in better circumstances within your future. You need to see that. You need to intuitively feel whether or not you should be in a situation, whether or not it's actually for your benefit, or whether or not you should walk away. You need to be your own self-guidance, your own compass, your own dowel rod. A lot of people, they don't do this, and this is why they're not in a high frequency. Now, if you start doing these things today, if you start practicing these things today, if you start to detach yourself from all of these external people, circumstances within your reality that you're depending on, that you're relying on to help you feel validated or help you feel a sense of self-worth, then once you start to disconnect from all of that crap and nonsense, and you start looking inside of yourself and realizing that you are your own source of power, then you gain a higher frequency. Psychologically wise, you'll realize that you are your own source of power, and once you mentally realize that, nothing will be able to stop you or unwind that realization that you have power. Nothing can take it away from you. No person, no man, no boss, no manager can take that from you once you become your own source of inspiration, admiration, and you really start to appreciate the qualities of yourself and love yourself just the way you are, which gets me to my next point. And when it comes to the physical body or the way that someone looks, this is one of the beliefs that really do ground that negative energy into a person's psyche, into their person's way of being, to the point where they're always expressing this negative, low vibrational state of being. And that is the way one looks. Seriously. A lot of people nowadays think that they need to look a certain way to look beautiful, completely ignoring the fact that people are attracted to people that come in all shapes and sizes. You know, not only that, but there is a new type of person that is on the scene, and that is these individuals like myself who aren't just attracted to what somebody looks like, you know, that side, that perception of 3D, but that can connect multidimensionally to somebody's soul, that can connect on a much deeper level to a person's character. And that is the most attractive trait of a being, from my opinion. You guys don't have to agree, but honestly, I'd much rather the female that is going to behave like herself, her true self, and isn't going to be painting her face and looking a certain way to attract somebody, relying on her looks to attract somebody, but who's just going to be comfortable in her own skin the way she is, her own genetic expression. I love the way people look. I love their characters. I love the way that their DNA markers are showing on their outside of their skin. I love the way that their character, their soul is able to express through their DNA, and that is why you're able to see a complete reflection of their soul, with the characteristics that they haven't changed, the color of their hair, their eye color, their skin, the height, The shapes of their facial features and their body parts are all visual representations of the vibrational being within inside the vessel of their body, expressed through their DNA and making a physical change that you can see on this side of reality in 3D. Very much like how you look at a plant or a sunflower, you see the beautiful patterns, the geometry, the structure within the plant. The plants don't change themselves to look more attractive. But yeah, this is just one of those things that a lot of people hinge upon. A lot of people hold on to this false belief, which really is just an idea which literally makes no sense. And the only part of it that doesn't make sense is that there is only one way to do something. Whereas when you're on a high vibration, obviously, you start to see more ways of doing something. And obviously those of you who are watching this who are on a low vibration can only see themselves being attracted by changing the way they look may disagree with me, because you can't see these other potential ways of looking or seeing attractiveness in someone else, is what I'm saying. So when you raise your frequency, you get rid of all these chains that bind you to this low vibrational state of being. And you access more ways of looking at a situation, which is great. It's always a plus. Now, another way to raise your frequency is to do things that make you you. It's very important that you do that. You have to love yourself enough to give yourself the time to do the things that you enjoy so that it raises your frequency. You'll know that it's raising your frequency. You'll feel more like you, your character, when you pick up a pen or a paintbrush and start doing art. When you go to that gym and you start running on that treadmill, or you start lifting those dumbbells, or you start swimming in that water, which is the perfect thing to raise your frequency and clear that debris, that negative frequency that you're attracting and it's sticking to you from other people, is to go swimming. Now, don't get confused. This isn't to say that you're supposed to go out there and do things that you don't like doing, like going to the gym because you're afraid of getting fat. That is not a high vibrational state of being. That is going to ground you into a lower state of being. Okay? I'm saying do the things that you enjoy, and only do the things that you enjoy. But be open to experiencing new things that you could potentially enjoy, is what I'm saying here, right? And then by doing so, what happens is you'll be more of yourself. When you're not being yourself and you're trying to be everyone else, you're trying to gain what other people have got by being them, by adopting their characteristics, you just feel crappy, you feel dead inside, and it makes you feel depressed. It makes you feel fake, and no one wants to feel fake. You all want to be like yourself. So by doing these things, by taking these steps, by noticing what's holding you down, by the perceptions, by the beliefs that you hold, just by believing that there is only one way to do something, and by going out and expressing your talents, what makes you happy, that is going to clear and raise your frequency. Now, when it comes to raising your frequency, you have to stay away from negative people. I know it sucks, but there has to be time for you, and only you and not them. Now, whatever they say towards that plan of action is their own insecurities that come up. That's another main problem when it comes to being around negative people, and this is one of the main reasons as to why you need to get away from them. Is because they are going to project every belief, every insecurity that they have, which makes sense to them as to why it is that you're not communicating to that person. Say, for example, if you're in a relationship and they're going through a hard time, you have to understand the fact that they're not trying to throw things at you. They're not trying to project crap at you on purpose. It's just the way that they're able to think. It's just the way that they're able to make sense of the situation. By no fault of their own, they're at a low frequency and they cannot see what it is that you're saying. So don't take it personally. It would be up to you to figure out how to communicate to said person who is in a low vibrational being, if it's a person that cannot be removed from your life, and try to figure out a way to communicate to them which will stop them or make them aware of their actions. And if they're not aware of it, then remove yourself from the situation completely for a while, until their vibration at least balances out to the point where they can at least start considering new ideas and concepts and your perceptions, which will make sense at a later date and time. Next would be music. Listening to music. This will trigger an emotional memory. It will trigger a memory from the past, which will trigger an emotional response within your very body, which will make you feel great. thus raising your frequency and allowing you to let go of any problem which is holding you back from this present moment, any problem which is stopping you from seeing a situation as it actually is and coming up with new solutions to that problem so that it can be resolved indefinitely within this now present moment. Music isn't always a bad thing if you're listening to lyrics which are uplifting, which can open you up out of your shell and make you express yourself even better, maybe even dance, depending on what music it is. Me, myself, I like to listen to jazz, something really zingy, which you cannot refrain or sustain yourself from moving. Now this next bit is completely optional. It is having one of these on you. These crystals, the pink quartz, allows you to vibrate or resonate on the frequency of, you guessed it, love. Now what is love really? Well, love is an emotional response. It is the deep resonancy of source creation, and there are many parts, or many aspects, or many ways to view and perceive and feel the emotion of love. It's not just one emotion done in one specific way, which everyone is used to doing. No. When you feel this, when you look at the color even, it changes your thoughts and it brings up that vibrational frequency and alters the mental body, allowing you to come up with more ways, more solutions, more reasons to fall in love with the things that you are looking at. Feels good. And you hold it with you on your hand or on your person, in your pocket. And every time you hold it, you just pay attention to how you feel and how it's making you feel, how the energy is molding your thoughts, to notice these things. And then you can use that emotional experience, this memory of grounding yourself within this feeling and noticing how it's altering your mental mind as a memory, so that every time you go back to the crystal, you can resurface the memory and it just brings back that feeling tenfold. And you keep adding to it over and over again, to the point where it becomes your sacred object. And it has to remind you of something. You're in a relationship with yourself. The issues you have with yourself will literally, indefinitely come out in other people. And when they do come out in other people, that will always give you the option to observe yourself on a more deeper level. And if you cannot do that or deal with that part of yourself just yet, you're always going to have a problem with other people. You're always going to have a problem with other people. It's not going to be something that's going to disappear by looking at other people and trying to figure them out. You have to solve it by figuring out yourself, these parts of yourself that you do not like, and that deals with shadow integration. Check out my website, ryancropper.com. Look at other videos for other things such as this. I've also got Facebook pages. You can follow me on Periscope for live Q&As or whenever I'm feeling insightful and feel like sharing my information live on a platforms such as Periscope. Or join the group Ryan Cropper's Friends for other people like us who have these things in common which we can then relate to one another and speak about these things that we are into. Not only that, but the Christmas offer for the manifestation course will end in 20 days. I think less than that. I need to go and check it on my website, ryancropper.com. But you guys can check that out if you want to go over there and learn how to manifest things, happiness and joy. Go over to ryancropper.com, click on products, and for those of you who've already got the products and you want to go back to the products, if you click down, there will be a drop-down menu saying My Products. This is relatively new. If you click on that, you'll have access to all of your products. You just have to put in the password to keep going back and forth to the products that you've already purchased. Okay, so I'm Ryan JC. This is going to be about Do It. I hope you all understood, and I'll speak to you guys pretty soon.